I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing as Josh Bledsoe from Calvary Baptist leads us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight and just recognize you first and foremost for the great and gracious God that you are. God, we thank you for the blessings that you give us. We thank you for the community that we're in. So God, tonight as we go about the business of Monticello looking to make decisions, God, we would pray for wisdom and direction, just to be able to make God-honoring choices that would be that would lead to continued blessings for our community. And so, God, thank you for these individuals who lead our council. And so, God, I would just pray that you would just bless them with wisdom and clarity during this time as they go about their business. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Please, Jill.
Mr. Frerick.
Here.
Ms. Stevens. Ms. Harlan. Here. Mr. Reed.
Here.
Ms. Vogt. Here. Mr. Brock. Mr. Burris.
Here.
Mr. Coon.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. This is the time for public participation. There was no one in person. Remote participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public web conference to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Do I have anyone this evening? Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda. Approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report. Claims dated January 26, 2021 through February 8, 2021. Meeting minutes, City Council meeting minutes, January 25, 21. Permit report, January 20, 21. Police report, January 20, 21. Fire report, January 20, 21. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is any questions or comments about what's on it, what's in it? Hearing or seeing none, Jill, would you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Frerick.
Yes, ma'am.
Harlan.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Vogt.
Yes.
Mr. Burris.
Yes.
Mr. Coon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. The mayor's report this evening, I'm going to remind everyone there are 56 businesses in Monticello, DeLand, Ivesdale, and Bement that are actively hiring over 120 full and part-time positions of all levels, trades, and experience. View the local job board on the city's website for a listing, or visit the Piatt County Workforce Development Office for workforce assistant. Okay, I'm going the wrong way on the agenda. Moving on to new business. Ordinance 2021-08. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2021-08, an ordinance authorizing the City of Monticello to borrow funds and to execute and issue a promissory note of the city and associated documents. This was discussed in pretty great detail during the budget discussions late last year, and these are included within the general fund budget for fiscal year 2021. Mid-Illinois Bank and Trust, First State Bank, and the State Bank of Bement Monticello branch submitted loan proposals for these purchases, and First State Bank offered the lowest rate at 2.25%. 5-year low interest loan will require annual payments of approximately $57,700.40. The loan is in the amount of $270,000. It is for the dump truck and the air curtain burner to replace the operations at the green waste facility. It is recommended the City Council review and adopt ordinance 2021-08 approving the mayor and the city clerk authority to sign the First State Bank promissory note as presented.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions of Terry before I ask for action? Any comments or questions? Is there a motion to waive second reading? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferricks?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Harlan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Vogt?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-08, authorizing the city of Monticello to borrow funds to execute and issue a primary note of the city and associated documents?
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? A roll call, please.
Mr. Ferricks?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Harlan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Vogt?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Ordinance 2021-09. Terry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for approving that ordinance 2021-08. And hopefully can discuss and approve ordinance 2021-09. Jim is needing to get that air curtain burner here absolutely as soon as possible so we can start that operation on frozen earth. This ordinance deals with, like I said, purchasing the new 2022 International dump truck and purchasing the air curtain burner, as well as selling one of our existing dump trucks to the village of BMet. And I'll hand it over to Jim, who's handled this ordinance and actually met with BMet. So, Jim?
Thanks, Terry. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So as you know, during budget talks, we talked about replacing one of our large plow trucks, and as of late, you've seen them out working. So it's time. This 2022 truck will have very much the same equipment that we have on there. And the breakdown in the memo shows that the truck frame is a sold separate item. We're buying that via the state bid from Rush Truck Centers. We checked other manufacturers to see if there was a better deal to be had. Really not. The state bid is by far and away the best route to go for us. So the truck bed is 83,000 about. The bed, the plow, and the spreader are also sold separately and listed separately, and those items cost $61,318. That is totally outfitted. So when we pick this truck up, we'll have no work to do other than put our decals on there and put it in service. It'll take about 4 weeks to 8 weeks to get, depending on when we're able to get the order placed. And I met and have been meeting with the Village of Immense, Chad Corum, who is the I think he's the Public Works Director, or Superintendent of Public Works, or whatever his title is, but he has a similar job in BMet that I have, and he is one of those individuals that's asking me if we're ever going to do any surplus property, please give him a call. And so I did. I gave him a call, and he was very much interested. He's actually came and test drove the truck. He's spoken with their mayor, and they actually have a village agenda item as well to do the purchase. So if all goes through, we already have it sold to another municipality, making it so we don't have to go through the sealed bid process. So I just ask that you do go ahead and approve this ordinance, buying this truck, authorizing me to sell or authorizing the city to sell the other truck to the village of BMet, and buy the air curtain burner.
I think we're meeting tomorrow, aren't
They're meeting tomorrow, yes.
Thank
We
you.
should.
Anything else?
That was it.
Any comments or questions?
Yeah,
Jim or Terry? Yes.
Jim, you maybe told me before, what's the time frame on getting that burner in?
It should be here. Let me look into it, but last we heard it was going to be the end of February, early March.
Just curious. Okay.
Yeah, we are, like Terry said, we were chopping a bit. We want to get it placed before the ground thaws. As long as it's sitting there, we'll be able to start using it.
You do have a lot of catching up to do out there,
Oh,
so
boy.
I understand.
Yeah.
How many of those, like the new truck, how many of those do we have? Is it just one?
Of the bigger trucks, the city owns 5.
And are we any kind of, like, are we in a rotation to get one? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
all don't come like, we didn't buy them all at the same time.
Harry's actually been working on that with Trevor and me and putting together we call it life cycle cost.
Mhm.
And yeah, we do. We have been. It's been a number of years since we've done that, but we are looking very closely at doing that for everything.
Anyone else?
I'm just curious why these all are on the same ordinance. Or does it matter for us? Why wouldn't they be on separate ordinances since that we're talking about, I understand the promissory note, but we're talking about the truck and then the air burner.
Yeah, oftentimes, when we deem it necessary to get rid of surplus equipment, that will be included in the ordinance and then the purchase of.
Right.
And then, so we're doing both purchases for those tonight in this one ordinance.
Okay.
It happens all the time. It's not. Gotcha. Anyone else?
So it's reasonable to get 20 years out of this truck.
I think so.
So we got out of the last one. It's
I think so.
excellent.
They live in a hard environment.
They do.
They do.
They get to stay inside now, though.
They do get to stay inside, which is key.
That is a huge component.
Is that done yet? That building? Are we ever going to get to see it, or we're waiting for an invitation, haven't had one. Maybe we'll have an open house when we aren't so worried about.
No mask there.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to waive second reading of ordinance 2021-09?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ferris?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Seaver? Oh, sorry, Mrs. Harlan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Oh, Larry.
Ms. Vogt?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
And Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-09 and ordinance declaring and authorizing the borrowing of funds?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ferris?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Harlan?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Vogt?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
And Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now it's time for all the persons' reports. I'll start with Mary tonight.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Rodney.
Stay warm.
Warm. I'm all over, by the way. Mike?
Mayor and Terry is aware, I have had a couple conversations with the recreation director in Sauk City, Wisconsin, who is, they are in the process of doing a very similar project in scale to what we have proposed. And there's been some pretty good information if you want to look and Google their project. Sauk City, Sauk Prairie is the name of the area. It's a $12 million project. They have a $5 million lead gift. The nice thing on that one is that they have a relationship with Culver's, which is the area, so that was nice for them. But they have a very detailed list of how much the naming rights are, and I think it's a town of about 3,500 people, so it's somewhat similar to us. And then just looking at the project, so I reached out to them just to get some feedback on how they did it. They very similar to us. They started thinking about it in about 2010, so about 10 years ago. They broke ground last fall, and they hope to open it by 2023. So anyway, I would encourage us maybe to talk with them to figure out how we can get the project off the ground.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Pam?
Nothing.
John?
Come here.
Thank you. Police chief's report.
Yes, Other than the numbers that you've already seen, we did have to combine some of them. It's now some service numbers versus split out certain things because of Spillman being able to find some. So it is a little different, but we were able to combine the numbers to make it so that you had last year's numbers and this year's still. Also, we have an officer who is leaving us on Wednesday morning. It'll be his last day when he gets off the midnight shift. So we'll be meeting with the Police and Fire Commission and setting some dates for hiring a new officer. The last thing is we've had the opportunity this month to, and we'll continue throughout the month, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, work with the health department on vaccinations over here at the community building. Things seem to be going well. I encourage everybody that wants it, get out and get it, sign up for it.
Any questions of John? Chief Carter? Thanks, John. Fire Chief's report, John Rupke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In January, we ran 35 calls, 22 medicals. Pretty kind of an uneventful month. We did quite a bit of training. We did air packs and SCBA training and maintenance. We have to go through all the packs every year and make sure the batteries work and everything's working on those things. We went through that. We did equipment orientation. We have a few new members. We went through all our vehicles and our trucks. And we kind of looked at where everything was at. So on the scene, we did this quickly. Week 3, we did sexual harassment and bloodborne pathogens in services. Both were kind of required. I know sexual harassment is required by the state, and then bloodborne pathogens is in our health vendor, whatever, for the city. We need to get bloodborne pathogens in, so we got that taken care of. Then we went through our own vehicles and all our maintenance on the vehicles and equipment. Had 2 officers meeting this month and got some things done. We also got our new air compressor that we budgeted for. That came this month. And I want to thank Trevor for helping us. And HW brought their forklift to help us get it in. It's about 1,000 pounds. So between Trevor and HW, we got it in the firehouse and into the spot where we wanted. It's now hooked up and ready to go. So we're ready to start working with it. That is about it for January. Not much else going on. So thank you.
Any questions of John Rupke? Thank you, John, for your report this evening. Okay, City Administrator's report. Mr. Summers?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff met with the Farnsworth Group last week to discuss the Robert C. Burke Memorial Master Plan. From that meeting, the public design workshops are tentatively going to be scheduled for April 8th. They'll hold one April 8th in the afternoon in this room, and then one that same April 8th in the evening. It'll be kind of an open house workshop. And then they will be beginning to online and phone interviews with some key stakeholders. One of those stakeholders is Mr. Burke's sister. So she's very excited to participate in that. So things are moving forward with that. I wish Alderman Brock was here tonight. I received some extremely great news today, this afternoon. Callie came running, and I'm not kidding. I think Alderman Reed can verify, came running down the hallway that we received the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency preliminary sign off on tract 8.
Oh, no, already?
Now, the scary part is I said preliminary. So our engineers have to do a couple of things. They got to submit the no further remediation letter and request, but that is a huge step in the right direction for tract 8. And then the Planning and Zoning Board will be meeting next Monday in this room to discuss and hold public hearings for the Varner property. It's almost just shy of 9 acres there on North State Street. Mr. Varner lived there. I think he had an iris farm. He was world renowned with his irises, I believe, just south of the Pike County Forest Preserve there. So they'll be conducting a public hearing for the rezoning of that tract to City of Monticello RE. And then they'll also be conducting a public hearing for the preliminary plan of a 5-lot subdivision on that nearly 9-acre parcel. And then along with that, the city council will hear that on your next meeting, February 22nd. And then you'll also, that property is not in the city limits. So they'll also be doing an annexation public hearing at the city council level, February 22nd. So very exciting news to get 5 residential lots. I think there's 1 buildable lot left in Walden Pond. Obviously some activity at Sage Meadows, Sage Crossing, and Sage Woods are the 3 Sages. So I'm excited about 5 more lots. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
That's it already?
That's it.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Terry. Appreciate all the efforts. Anything else from anyone? Not hearing or seeing. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Is there a second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no?